Sarah finds herself under increasing pressure when her past relationship with ex-boyfriend Kit Green returns to haunt her, leaving her facing a difficult choice. Meanwhile, Lucy Parkinson is finding it hard to settle into life with Tim and Sally Metcalf after her father Richie's arrest. Later in the week, Idris Nazir gets involved in some shady business as he looks for a quick way to make money. And he pulls Ollie Driscoll into his risky scheme. Unable to wait until after the weekend? Here's a look at the latest spoiler videos. Sarah's growing friendship with fellow prisoner Kacey takes an unexpected turn on Monday night when Kacey asks her to do a favor. When Kacey arrives at Sarah's cell, Sarah asks about her visit with her son, only to discover that he failed to turn up because he had been arrested. Kacey explains that her son has been charged with armed robbery, and admits she feels guilty because she believes she has failed to set a good example for him. Sarah does her best to reassure her. Kacey insists that her son has done nothing wrong and pleads with Sarah to speak to Kit on his behalf. Even after Sarah explains that she and Kit are no longer together, Kacey refuses to give up. But could Sarah find herself in serious trouble if she refuses to help? Tim and Sally are doing everything they can to provide Lucy with a sense of security, and Tim believes a shopping trip could help. As Sally explains the rules for their outing, Lucy comes downstairs complaining that it is unfair she cannot see her father, while Joni and Shanice are allowed to visit Mick. Lucy argues that she should at least be permitted to speak to him. Tim reassures her that she will be able to contact him once social services give their approval, but Lucy remains convinced that this will not happen anytime soon. After Lucy storms away, Sally tells Tim to go shopping by himself, while she stays behind to try to settle her daughter. On Wednesday, Idris and Ollie launch their secret poker game, while Lauren Bolton notices that Brody Michaelis appears unhappy about being left out. He insists that it does not bother him when Lauren asks about it. Idris then explains their cheating strategy to Ollie, before warning Lauren to keep quiet and not tell Leanne Battersby or Alia Nazir that the premises are being used for the game. As the remaining players start turning up, villain Fiona is also among the guests. Lauren takes Ollie aside and admits that she is worried about the suspicious poker game. Ollie insists that he has everything under control, but could his involvement in the scheme ultimately put him in serious danger? 5 Coronation Street spoilers for tonight reveal a new witness in Tim's dark storyline. In tonight's Coronation Street, newcomer Lucy shares her side of the story following the shocking murder that has devastated her family. How will Tim react to what she says? Meanwhile, Sarah forms a new friendship behind bars, but she may be placing her trust in the wrong person. Here are 5 major moments from Friday's episode. Lucy's arrival at the Metcalf home takes a disturbing turn when she has a frightening nightmare and begins sleepwalking before waking up absolutely terrified. Later, Lucy overhears Brody talking about her mother's murder and quickly defends Richie, insisting that Rachel attacked him first and that he was simply protecting himself. According to Lucy, Rachel had repeatedly assaulted Richie over the years and made his life unbearable inside the family home. But should her account really be believed? Lily attempts to introduce herself to Lucy, but the pair immediately get off to a difficult start, with Lucy taking matters too far by attacking her. When Jody hurries over to stop the fight, Lucy lashes out and leaves cuts on Jody's arms. Jody immediately reports Lucy's violent behavior to Sally, but Sally decides to believe that her new foster daughter was actually the victim. Could Sally's decision come back to haunt her? Sarah feels reassured when fellow prisoner Kacey reaches out and befriends her in prison, even promising to protect her. Kacey also points out that Sarah's partner is a police detective, but Sarah explains that she and Kit have already split up, meaning their connection should not cause trouble in prison. When Bethany goes to visit Sarah, she becomes wary after noticing Kacey staring at them. Sarah refuses to think that her new friend could have bad intentions, although Bethany remains unconvinced. Brian gathers several residents together and proposes creating a local traders association so they can support one another through the current financial difficulties. But will Kirk, Dev, Tracy, Maggie, Rita, and Steve agree to get involved? Idris finally tells Alia that he wants to purchase her share of Speeddoll, although his offer stands at just £35,000, leaving him £15,000 below her asking price. Surprised by Idris's sudden proposal, Ollie says she needs some time to consider the offer. Newcomer Lucy spirals in Coronation Street as worried Tim fears her growing anger. Earlier this week, Tim visited the home of his cousin Richie. Before this, Richie had been kicked out of the house by his wife Rachel. Richie was planning to leave for Liverpool, but Tim encouraged him to return home and attempt to resolve his problems with his partner. Tim had only gone to Richie's house after discovering his cousin's wallet underneath the sofa. However, when Richie answered the door, Tim was horrified to find his shirt stained with blood. Once inside, Tim made the devastating discovery that Rachel was dead. Richie is now behind bars for the murder of his wife. Their daughter Lucy was placed into foster care, but her first arrangement soon broke down. Feeling sorry for the teenager, Tim arranged for Lucy to stay with him, Sally, and the Michaelis children. Social worker Ruth cautioned Sally and Tim that Lucy was in an extremely fragile emotional state. When the teenager arrived, the couple did their best to make her feel welcome and safe. It soon became clear to Sally and Tim that building a bond with Lucy would not be easy. During dinner, they attempted to gently explain what would happen to Richie, but Lucy became furious and shouted at Tim, insisting that she knew he did not genuinely care about her. The teenager continued to test Sally and Tim in today's episode. After once again losing her temper over Rachel's death, Lucy stormed outside and ended up getting into a heated confrontation with Lily Platt. However, Sally and Tim were determined not to abandon Lucy. Once they returned home, they tried to reassure her, as Lucy began thinking about the final moments shared by Richie and Rachel. Lucy struggled to understand why her father had returned home after previously saying he would stay somewhere else. She questioned whether Tim knew anything about Richie's decision to go back to the house, but Tim denied having any knowledge. Lucy then went upstairs, leaving Sally questioning why Tim had lied to her. The newcomer is obviously carrying a great deal of emotional turmoil. Tim believed keeping the truth from Lucy was the best option, but Sally fears that the teenager could become even more distressed if she discovers that Tim has not been completely truthful. So, what will the coming week have in store for Sally and Tim? Coronation Street airs on weeknights at 8:30 p.m. on ITV1 and is also available to stream on ITVX.